We're going to kick things off with a very special guest we have with us here today, a man who represented much of Fairfield County for about over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, and he's running this year for the United States Senate in the Republican primary on August 14th. A very big pleasure here in East Windsor to have Congressman Chris Shays. Woo!
So, if I were Mitt Romney, I'd run on hope and change. If you think about it, our president has given up the high road, and he's into dividing, he's getting into class warfare, and he's basically telling us there's no hope except we just got to divide what we already have. And the change he gave us was not the change we were anticipating, was it? So I'm serious. I want Mitt Romney to run on hope and change because people are hungry for hope. And they deserve it because there's every reason to have hope. So I'm growing up as a kid. My three older brothers were off to college. One was in the Navy as a pilot. And my dad would commute into New York. He'd read 2 papers in the morning and 1 at night. And we would have family conversations because when I was growing up, we actually had dinner with each other. And my dad would question me, and he would never allow me to say something was stupid. But the reason I'm telling you this story is that my brothers thought I was being spoiled. Spoiled because I lived better than they did, because my parents were living better, because, well, this was really actually what you call a teachable moment for a dad. He said, "Sons, welcome to America. This is a country where every generation is better off than the previous generations. Your brother's better off than you, and your children would be better off than you, and their children would be better off than them." My dad got me to believe in the promise of America. I grew up believing in the promise of America. It was almost biblical to me. This was like my birthright, that my life would be better than his, and he would rejoice in it, because he knew that that was something he was passing on to his child, that the world would be a better place because of America. And you know what? That dream, that promise, that birthright, you're not hearing parents talk to their kids about it anymore. You're not hearing kids think about it. They're not growing up with what many of us grew up with. I'll just say parenthetically, I went to a senior citizen home and someone yelled out, "What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for the seniors?" And I said, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make sure your children have the same opportunity you had." That's what we own. So how do we get there? We get our country's financial house in order. We reduce the size of government 20%. 4 people leave, you hire one. If an agency is too big, you move someone to another department or agency. And if they don't want to go, you say goodbye. Because they work for you. We don't work for them. What you also do is you take this vast amount of resources that this country has in natural gas. We are the Saudi Arabia plus of natural gas. Oil is a lot cleaner than coal. And natural gas is 10 times cleaner than oil. And it is so plentiful from Denver all the way up to the Dakotas, all the way to New York State. Fabulously wealthy homeowners, they own this oil and natural gas. But the key point is, our natural gas is going to bring our energy costs lower than the world's average, and you're going to see industry come back to this country. We still produce more than any other country in the world because of the incredible hard work of Americans and our technology. But our energy costs are going to make us so competitive. The chemical industry is going to dominate the world in chemical output because natural gas is the key ingredient. And then what we're going to do, and you know what? Republicans and Democrats alike want to do it. I want to be there. I'm asking you to give me that opportunity. We're going to get rates to 25, 15, and 10. And the 10% rate doesn't stop at 17,000. It goes all the way up to 70,000. 70,000. And then the 15% rate goes all the way up to 210,000. And then from then on, you pay 25%. You get rid of the write-offs except 3 things. Mortgage deduction, be able to deduct for local and state taxes. And the only way this is going to happen is to elect some Republicans. Republicans are going to look at all the regulations, state and federal regulations, even state, they better. But on the federal level, every committee is going to have to review the departments and agencies they oversee to make sure that those regulations are really needed. What I didn't tell you when I started off is there's only one way to be able to live the American dream, and that is your economy has to grow. And it has to grow at 4% or more. It grew at 4% for 200 years. And I'll end by saying this, it's not normal to have 15 to 20 million people unemployed. It's not normal to have trillion-dollar deficits. It's not normal to have a growth rate of 1.5%. It's not normal to have declining incomes. None of that is normal. Normal is 96% employment. Normal is 4% growth. Normal is rising incomes. That's normal. It's not the extraordinary. We're not looking for the extraordinary. We're looking for normal. And that's what Republicans are going to do. Now, we can get in disagreement about a lot of things, but we know this. What makes us Republicans? We believe in a free market, combine it with democracy, and you got growth. We believe in the hard work of American workers, the Connecticut Yankee ingenuity, combined with our technologies, you put it together and you got growth. The one element that's truly been missing is we haven't been using our own resources. When we start using our own resources again, we will dominate the world in terms of our economic growth, and we will restore the promise of America. So we're all Republicans in this room. When there is the election, if I lose, I support the winner, right? And if I win, the winner supports me. But I want to say this one thing. Betsy and I, my wife, I didn't introduce them. Well, I'd like to say the most beautiful woman in this room. She won't raise her hand because she doesn't want that title, but she's right over there. And we said, if we're not, win or lose, we're going to go out and help Republicans win. But the one thing I want to say, it's one caveat, I'm helping Republicans that are running on the Republican line. I'm not going to be out campaigning for people who think they need to be on two lines. We're not Republicans and independents, we are Republicans. Why would we build an independent party to compete with us in the next gubernatorial election? Why would we do that? Why wouldn't we do it? I'm not done, and I will be done soon. I just want to make this point to you. I've run 18 elections, and sometimes I'm questioning, are you a true Republican? 18 elections as a Republican. I didn't get a nomination and then seek to run as an independent. I'm seeking to run as a Republican because that's the party I want to build. It's called the Party of Abraham Lincoln. Thank you all very, very much.